Well, good morning. Good morning, and welcome to the Morning Report. My name is Willie Lawson. The Morning Report is a production of fightbackmedia.com, 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 and fightbackmediatv.com. We trust that you are well on this. It is when? It's Thursday. Wow, the week just slipped by. I said that it is Thursday morning. It's nice outside. I just got back from a walk, a little walk, trying to stretch out a little bit. It's 74 degrees here. That's Fahrenheit in West Central Florida, and we're looking forward to a warm and sunny and beautiful day, a beautiful Florida winter. Yes, you may come visit, but then you have to go home. You may not stay. You may not buy a home. You may not put your kids in our schools. Time for you to go. The land of Florida freedom. How do we keep it free? Keep it from being full. That's really one of the keys. In any case, listen again. Welcome to the program. We'll be back right after these messages. Well, hey everybody, my name is Willie Lawson, and you guys know that I do a lot of stuff on the internet. And you may think with what's happening on Twitter and what's happening on Facebook and what happened to Parler that the mainstream social media sources are really trying to rid themselves of conservative voices. And you'd be right. They most certainly are. Um, but you know what? It isn't as bad as you think it is. It's worse. But there are people who are willing to be platformed for free speech. One of those one of those places is freedomforum.website. Freedomforum.website. You can go there and speak your mind. So come join us. Enjoy the freedom. Enjoy the fun. If you are a true blue conservative, small businesses are near and dear to your heart. They are the lifeblood of our life and economy. I believe this, and that's why my florist is not a website or phone number. My florist is Blooming Days Flower Shop, Tampa's premier flower shop. At 11618 North Florida Avenue here in Tampa, Florida, and at 6835 State Road 54 in Newport Richey. Call Christine at 813-933-1942 and at 727-232-6900. She can also be reached on the web at www.bloomingdays.com. One of the things that I get asked most is where can I get information that is not tainted with liberal bias, especially here in the Tampa Bay area. Well, now I have the answer. tbctampa.com, a website by and for Tampa area conservatives. Tampa's leading conservative voices speak freely at tbctampa.com. And you can too. So join the fun and enjoy the freedom at tbctampa.com. My name is Willie Lawson, and this is the Morning Report. Welcome back. Last night on a thing that we're going to call the Evening Report, makes sense, right? We did a story about blood batteries. Not a heard about blood batteries. Unfortunately, we are all participating in blood batteries. Almost all of us. There are probably very few people who are not participating in some way, shape, and form about with the concept of blood batteries. Now, when I say that, some of you remember blood diamonds, right? Diamonds being mined by forced labor. Forced labor is a euphemism for slaves, right? Um, the same thing's happening with the batteries that we're using for basically all of our appliances. You know that everybody's using what was called lithium batteries, right? Lithium is something that's mined from the ground and it needs things like cobalt, copper to function. And we have them in our cell phones. We have them in our smoke detectors for our homes. Lithium batteries that the batteries that last longer. You go to Home Depot and you buy the ones that you put up for 10 years, and you don't have to take them down for 10 years. You bought those? Yeah, yeah, me too. Lithium batteries. Lithium batteries again, and lithium needs cobalt and the like. Uh, but what no one is telling anybody is where are we getting some of these minerals to put in these batteries? Oh, and all the battery powered vehicles. I won't call them electric vehicles. If they were electric, they'd be plugged into an outlet and then they'd have a really long extension cord, but they don't. So they are battery powered vehicles, like an RC car. Who remembers Radio Shack? Who remembers the RC cars, right? At Christmas time. Remember those? They were powered with a battery, right? You didn't call them electric cars, right? They were remote control cars. They weren't electric. You had to do what? You had to buy a battery, and you needed a high capacity battery, and you needed a high capacity charger. So you'd buy the Sagita, which was $99, and then you'd buy the high capacity battery, which was $20. And in order to have fun with it, you needed the high capacity charger that was $69.99. So you need to spend another $90 to have fun with your $100 car. We worked on commission. It was good. Christmas was good times. Good times. Miss those days, but it was fun. We had a good time. So the Tesla and the Volt and a lot of the plug-in cars are a lot like the Radio Shack RC cars. A lot like them in the way that they ran. You didn't have to put water. I mean, you have to put water or oil in them and that stuff. I think in the EVs you have to put water in them because that's what runs the AC. But they ran a lot the same, right? So they're really battery powered cars, and these batteries aren't nickel cadmium batteries like your Radio Shack. They're lithium batteries, and with lithium batteries, they have to be mined, right? So here's what our administration has done because Joe Biden has said that he wants to end fossil fuels. As I remember the quote, he wants to work it out, which means he was trying to say phase it out. No, we wouldn't start right away. We want to work it out. Not sure what the hell that means, except he wanted to get rid of it. So if you're living in West Virginia or somewhere that's coal country, I don't know how you let this guy get elected. I just don't know how you let this guy get elected. Do you think you can all learn the code? Anyway, here's what happened. The State Department announced yesterday that the United States has signed a new memorandum of understanding. These are important, and we know almost nothing about the memorandum of understandings. How many there are, what they contain, who has signed them. It's basically a wink, wink, nod, nod, nudge, nudge to whomever you're talking to. The State Department has signed a memorandum of understanding with the Democratic Republic of the Congo and the Republic of Zambia concerning support for the development of a value chain in the electric vehicle sector. The MOU, as we will refer to it, is the latest round move in the President Biden's war on fossil fuels that he pledged to end, work it out, as he said, and part of his forced transition from gasoline-powered vehicles to electric vehicles, battery-powered vehicles. It's also a massive gift to those profiting off forced labor, slavery, including by children slaves, in the African countries signing the memo. As the State Department explained, the United States will support the commitment between the Democratic Republic of Congo, the DRC, we'll refer to going forward, and the Republic of Zambia to develop jointly a supply chain for electric vehicle batteries, battery-powered vehicle batteries, and supports the DRC and Zambia's goal of building a productive supply chain from mine to the assembly line, while also committing to respect international standards to prevent, detect, and take legal action to fight corruption through this process. So are they saying in this line here that this is where they're going to make sure they prevent child labor, coerced labor, debt-based labor, people working, selling their soul to the company store kind of thing? Corruption is bad, it is, but so is forced labor, and so is child labor. I thought that in this country that we had transitioned our factories from forced child labor, but we still benefit from it. If you've got a pair of Nikes on your foot or a Nike shirt, if we're mad at NFL, we should be mad at them because they wear so much Nike. If we're mad at football, we're mad at college sports, we're mad at sports in general, we should be mad at them because of they wear Nike stuff and only cheer for Adidas-based teams. Although they're not much better, but they are somewhat better. Because all these people are supporting forced labor. All of them are. In China, but it's forced labor. So are we okay with forced labor, or are we not okay with forced labor? The State Department explains the DRC produces more than 70% of the world's cobalt, while Zambia is the world's 6th largest copper producer and 2nd largest cobalt producer in Africa. Things that the Biden administration knows are crucial components of the urgently needed global energy transition. Global, right? So we will put up with all of their peccadillos and human rights violations because, reasons. But the Biden administration failed to mention that the reasons why DRC and Zambia are leading producers of raw materials needed for electric vehicle batteries in an announcement on the MOU designed to facilitate and develop an integrated value chain for the production of electric vehicle batteries in the DRC and Zambia, ranging from raw material extraction, processing, manufacturing, and assembly. All done with child labor. How do I know that? That's how they've been doing it. Why would they stop? Why would they stop? Why would it be different? The State Department itself, in this weird, tragic irony, has reports on its own website telling a real story about the DRC and Zambia and that are a damning indictment of the means to achieve the memo's end goal. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, mining bosses and other miners, family members, government officials, and armed groups have been found to force or coerce some adults and children to work in artisanal mines in the eastern DRC, including through debt-based coercion. Yeah, we'll give you food, but now you got to work for us. Oh, the money that you made working isn't enough to pay for your food, isn't enough to pay for your housing. It's the company store, remember? Oh, my soul to the company store. Yeah, it was slavery is what it was. The State Department reported in 2022, individuals associated with the extractive sector abused some children in forced labor, making them slaves, and illegal mining of diamonds, copper, gold, cobalt, tungsten, tantalum, and tin, as well as smuggling of minerals into Uganda, Burundi, Rwanda, and the United Arab Emirates, and Tanzania. The State Department already knows. So again, I get back to the very same thing I always get back to. People think, or people will say, conservatives will say, these people are stupid. They're not stupid. They're evil. Because they do know. Hell, if I know, and you know damn well they know. You know they know. I mean, you have to know they know. They don't care. They'll do anything to achieve their goal. They'll step over and step onto any dead body of a child. They don't care. They don't. They don't care at all. So is it okay now? Because it was, I mean, during the Trump administration, it is okay to talk about the president's.
Yeah, we talked about mental health elderly, so let's talk about this guy's mental health.
The president's mental acuity, because there's sometimes where it seems to be lacking. Have you seen?
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it's especially bad. I mean, I'm talking about sometimes it's like really bad. Like, have you seen the picture?
I was told not to take any questions.
I was told not to take any questions. They're going to be mad at me.
They're going to be mad at me.
Mr.
President, are you the president, or were you five?
You see, what I want. See, the next question is, excuse me,
I was told to call on what you call it for NBC. Who's telling you to call on?
That's the question that we ought to be asking. Who's telling you this?
I mean, I don't understand why nobody won't ask that question.
Is Jen Psaki actually the president?
Who's telling you to call on these people in the media?
Is Jen Psaki actually the president?
Probably so.
All right, welcome back. Appreciate you being here. Thank you ever so much. My name is Willie Lawson. This is the Morning Report. The Morning Report, again, is a production of fightbackmedia.com, 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 and fightbackmediatv.com. Oh, my goodness. There are changes brewing at CNN. CNN, as for a long time, had what people thought were their main offices in Atlanta. They had an Atlanta headquarters, big CNN sign there, and Turner took them there to sort of keep them away from New York and Chicago and Los Angeles, so they could be a little different. Turner Broadcasting wanted to be a little different because, Ted Turner was kind of crazy. So they've been in Atlanta for they've been in downtown Atlanta for a while. They are moving their offices. And this is and people are making this a big story until you do just a teeny bit of research. And this is why this is extremely important. Whenever you see these stories, you can do a little bit of research, not a much. You don't have to go very far. They are moving their headquarters and have been moving their headquarters bit by bit out of the CNN office in Atlanta for a long time. They have been, they have offices all around the world now in London and in Paris and in New York and Los Angeles and Chicago. So they have been moving their offices bit by bit to all the places where Ted Turner didn't want them to be for a long time. So it was only an interesting, ironic moment when after George Floyd overdosed, was killed or died, that a lot of the violent protesters were attacking the CNN office. Should have just told you right away. If you had a brain cell here on the right side of your head and a brain cell here on the left side of your head and one firing synapse across the breadth of your brain, that none of this was about George Floyd. None of it. The people who were on their side, so to speak, CNN, MSNBC, they were attacking their offices too. Maybe the violent protests were not about George Floyd. You think? Of course not. Any case, so they'll be moving. Here's the announcement. After more than 35 years, CNN is leaving its downtown mainstay in stages this year, with the entire operation moving back to where it was, a renovated space on the 30-acre Turner Techwood campus in Midtown. And I believe, as I saw the map, I think it's just south. Let me see. I think it's just south. Is it just south or just north? I think it's just north. I'm sorry, just north of where they are now. Just north, I believe. I'm trying to get this stupid other map off it. Let me look. I want to make sure that everybody gets it. It's just north of downtown Atlanta. Just north. Probably about 3.5 kilometers. I only said kilometers because of the map here. It says kilometers. That gives you an idea. About about 3.5 kilometers north of where downtown Atlanta is now. Now the thing though that's interesting is that there's got to be a change for this, and the change is mostly financial. It's a cost-cutting measure. We know that CNN's viewership is booty, right? Booty. So if everybody knows, if you know and I know that their viewership is booty, you know who else knows? People who advertise on CNN. They also know. So their revenues for advertisement is down too. And this is purely speculation on my part, purely speculation. So don't write this down anywhere. Just sort of think about it for a second. That at some point, it would seem to me that CNN's presence in Georgia is going to disappear entirely, because they're not moving. Because we're not hearing stories of them moving out of New York, or moving out of Chicago, or moving out of LA, or moving out of London or Paris. But they are getting the hell up out of Georgia. What do they know that the rest of us don't know yet? All right. New Zealand's prime minister has announced a resignation. Why is this a big deal? Did you not know who this woman was? This person, her name is Jacinda Ardern. Was anti-gun, pro-COVID lockdown. Basically said that people who weren't vaccinated should indeed be second-class citizens. They should be pressured into it and have to live a different type of lifestyle than the rest of us. And just didn't back down from that. Just didn't back down from that. Wow. So since December, the more conservative parties were actually comfortably ahead of the Labor Party. To give you an idea, the conservative parties are more like, for the lack of a better term, Republicans, and the Labor Party, again, for the lack of a better term, or socialist, or like Democrats. So maybe she thinks that she can boost her party's chances of pulling an upset with her premature exit, but who knows? The anti-gun, pro-COVID lockdown prime minister is going. She says that she just can't do the job anymore. She doesn't have enough. She's too tired. Just take too much out of her. Yes, keeping your boot on the neck of an entire nation is kind of tiring. That's what's going on. So that's what's going on there. My governor, my dude, Ron DeSantis, after nearly 2 years of COVID-19 pandemic, is still the thing that Democrats are trying to push when nothing else is going on. My dude says no. Governor Ron DeSantis has proposed measures to permanently ban all COVID mandates, including vaccine and masks, saying that he wants to protect Florida from the biomedical security state. The governor's proposal, dubbed prescribed freedom, will forever do away with the vaccine and mask mandates that schools and governments attempt to place. It also prohibits private employers from enacting mask mandates or hiring or firing based on vaccination status. It has required us over the past few years to stand against major institutions in our society, the bureaucracy, the medical establishment, legacy media, and even the President of the United States, who together were working to impose a biomedical security state on society, DeSantis said. Yeah, he said that while speaking to Todd Hendren at Todd Hendren Theater in Panama City Beach. The bans were previously placed last year in a special session of the state legislature. However, their expiration date looms. DeSantis is looking to solidify the mandates. Just get rid of them. The Republican governor's proposal will protect Floridians' right to disagree with the preferred narrative of the medical community, while also giving them room for religious views. Now, here's the deal. I talked to everybody. I talked to a one of my students yesterday. They are all. This young man is all vaxxed up, entirely vaxxed up, boosted up, and he had a. He told me yesterday that he had an incident where he, had some pain in his chest, and he's going to go to the doctor and get it checked out. And I'm glad. He's afraid that it's with his heart. I hope not. But this was a kind of madness that was caused in the hearts and minds of people. So if you would pray for my student, I'm not going to give you their name, but just know that they're one of my students who seems to be struggling, who struggled a little bit. Hope prayerfully that he will be okay. He'll be okay. Yes, the student is healthy in every other way, and has been. Anyway, when the world lost its mind, Florida was a refuge for sanity, serving strongly as freedom's linchpin. These measures will ensure Florida remains this way and will provide landmark protection for free speech and medical practitioners. If you only have one thought in medicine or science, you can't call it medicine and you can't call it science. You can only call it medical dictates. And normally these medical dictates are pushed in today's society by the pharmacological companies, the big pharma. Because they have a pill, they have a shot, they have a cream, they have a prescription for what ails you. And everybody needs to get it. So since the beginning of the pandemic, DeSantis has been on the front lines aiming to protect Americans from the left's progressive chokehold that they want on citizens. He has fought with Democrats every inch of the way, which worked because between 2019 and 2020, there was a mass influx of people into my state. With more than 252,000 people moving to Florida. We increased our population by 250,000 people. From April 20th to April 21st, nearly 300,030 people, 10% of the American population migrated to the state. 10% of the people in America left where they were and came to Florida. And that number is increasing. Just last month, DeSantis called for a grand jury investigation into alleged crimes and wrongdoings related to the COVID vaccines, setting up Florida's own public health integrity committee as opposed to trusting the CDC. If nothing else, you can say DeSantis is a 10th Amendment governor to the best of his ability. Is the dude perfect? No, he's not Jesus, and he'll tell you he's not Jesus. Pretty damn good, though. Pretty damn good. All righty, we're going to take. Are we done? Yeah, we're done. So again, thank you again for coming to the Morning Report. My name is Willie Lawson. The Morning Report is production of FightBackMedia.com, 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 and FightBackMediaTV.com. Again, do we see you can go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, take care of yourself. Listen, again, in the description box is a link to a townhall.com expose on a suburban LGBTQ pedophile ring and what they found. Part 3 is how did an accused child rapist adopt 2 children? Part 2 is just how big the operation was. That link, we're not going to talk about it any more than that, but that link is in the description box. All righty, again, thank you. We will see you when we see you. Bye-bye now.